Just going live on a Sunday to bring you the value of the prior week or of the last week. And man, do I have a good one for you. I want to talk about three things this in this video. Three things that were really impactful. Either they were reminders or just lessons, or just thoughts that I thought I'd share with you this week. The three things that I wanted to share with you. Number one was the power of a father and the power that the father role plays in a boy's life specifically. Number two thing I wanted to share with you was how powerful gratitude is in business. And then um, number three, what the hell was number three? Number three was how uh, how work is a blessing. And so I'll go into those in order. And then the last thing I want to touch on is a quote that from a book that I'm reading that I wanted to share with you that I think is extremely powerful and that I hope you find valuable and helps you in your life and on your journey. And so, first thing I wanted to talk about was the importance of fatherhood. Um, Look, I'm 38 years old. I am a business owner. I'm a husband, and I'm a father, amongst other titles I wear. The title I'm most proudest of in my life is being a father. What an amazing role that is, and how it's not only blessed me, but how it's also helped me. It's giving me so much so much fuel in my life. That's not to say that if I didn't have kids, I wouldn't have been ambitious. I think by nature I'm a very ambitious person, but being a father, those of you who know, you know what I'm talking about. But I want to talk a little bit about a specific experience that happened this week in particular, and I'll give you a little bit of a backstory too as to why I had that experience. But this week my son was having a hard time at school. He's been having a hard time at school with a specific boy. They're 8 years old. Things happen. It's normal. And I wouldn't even call it bullying because they do it to each other. So it's not like my son's not doing anything. And this week in particular, we found out that my son did something that was really out of character for him, but he did it, as a ways to get back at the kid. And so, we had to sit down with him and we needed to take some disciplinary action to really put him, in the right frame of thinking about what he did. And so, after we had finished our conversation and I had talked to him, I had this feeling inside of me. It was a feeling of it's like a feeling of guilt. And it was crazy because, my wife, she could see it. Even my oldest daughter, she saw it. And I went upstairs, started changing. So I was going to go to the gym after. And as soon as I came down, my wife and my daughter was like, "Hey, um, what you did was awesome." And I was like, in my mind, I'm trying to reason with the guilt I'm feeling, right? Uh, and then reasoning with where my wife's logic is and saying that what I did was right. She's like, "What you did, I love how you spoke with him, and I love how firm you were with him. That was important." And in that moment, I decided to just open up. My wife and my oldest daughter, who's 17, and I said, "Dude, you know what? That was the hardest thing for me." She was like, "Why was it?" And I was like, "You know what? My whole life growing up, I didn't really have a relationship with my dad. And the relationship that I had with my dad was, he was like a disciplinarian. I didn't really hang out with him as much, but when I did, it was because, my mom would tell my dad, oh, he was being misbehaving, and then my dad would have to spank me. And that was really the relationship. And he was very aggressive. And so growing up, I just told myself, I don't want to be that way with my own son. But there's a fine line, right? And then that was kind of the dilemma and the growing pain this week is that I'm not my dad. My son isn't me, even though he looks a hell of a lot like me. Um, I don't know what these hey, what's up? What did you know that only I am? I'm not sure what those comments mean, buddy. But anyway, I just wanted to keep sharing the story. So the dilemma for me this week was just that it was like, dude, you know, um, even though, my dad in the role he played in my life isn't the role I played in my son's life, I kept having this situation where I was in this loop, like where I want to be there for my son, give him a different experience, and I don't want to discipline him because that's the only experience I have with my dad. But it's so important. It's so important that we play that position too with our sons. We're their role model, and that was something that was kind of hard for me to understand, and I've been struggling with a little bit. But it's so important that we play a role in our sons lives. If we're fathers, that we're there, we're contributing to them, that we're talking to them, because even after he and I had that conversation and I came down on him really hard about his actions, I pulled him to the side after the fact and I started talking to him and building him up and telling him and reminding him really who he was, and how he's not that kid who does those things, and he needs to stay true to who he is and stay away from those who pull the bad side out of him. And it was a good experience, but it was a tough one because I found myself in this loop that I've been in for a while, because of my association with growing up with my dad. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. That was a very important, just a huge deal this week. And then the second thing I wanted to talk to you about was, the power of gratitude in business. This week, every day, every morning, I should say in specific, I do what's called gratitude sessions. And I wake up every morning, I have my coffee, I do my thing. But at some point in the morning, I'll reserve 20, 30 minutes to just go through my contacts, go through emails, go through, past clients, current clients, prospects, and just send them a message, something completely outside of business, no agenda. Just, hey, man, I'm so thankful to have met you, so thankful to work with you or to have worked with you or to connect with you. I'm here to be of service. Thank you so much. That kind of thing. And that's it. I leave it at that. If they respond, great. If they don't, great. It's all good. At least I've let them know that I'm grateful for them. And one of the things, that happened this week, which was wild, and it wasn't expected, but I reached out to a past client just to say thank you, for the opportunity to have worked with them. And about 3 hours later, I get a message from their daughter asking if I could help them with their commercial insurance. And I thought that was so cool. But it was a reminder, and this is what I wanted to share with you. This is the point of this message, in particular, is that we're not, I'm not in the commercial insurance business or the life insurance business. I am in the people business. I'm in the business of dealing with people and helping people out, however that looks, whether it's with insurance or communicating with them, giving them some words of encouragement, just being there, just listening, whatever the case is, we're in the people business. And it was a great reminder. And so I had to share that with my team because it was a powerful thing. You know what I mean? It was, and the crazy thing is the client, when I sent her that message, she didn't respond back. But just because they don't respond back doesn't mean the message wasn't received and it wasn't received well, And so I wanted to share that with you and remind you as well that if you're in business, you're in the people business. You deal with people, and to the degree that you understand how to deal with people, you'll find success on that level too. And then the third thing, which is kind of on the same subject, was how work is a blessing. Yesterday was not yesterday, Friday. My wife was off, and I work usually, right, Monday through Sunday type of thing. But on Friday, I had some downtime, and I said to myself, I said, you know what, dude, why don't I just take some time to focus, on just hanging out with my wife and working on the marriage? Keyword working. And so, we go for breakfast, we go make some, we're driving around running some errands, and it was so cool because she and I, we were talking and we had such a powerful conversation. We were like, dude, what a blessing it is to have a day like this where we have a few hours to work on our marriage. Not that our marriage is like, funky or anything, but that's the point. When you take time out of your day to focus on your children, your hobbies, your work, your marriage, your friendships, you keep those things intact, you keep them deep, you keep them strong and connected, and that requires work. But you got to look at work as a blessing because that's what that is. We've been blessed with an opportunity to work, and there's so many people today, that won't be here tomorrow. They're gone. They're gone, and I know for a fact they would give anything to just have one more day, even if it meant putting in, putting in a couple hours to work, but just to have that day, just to be alive and to experience this again, because this is such an incredible thing. And so I share that with you because, we had that conversation, my wife and I, and it was a very powerful conversation, that really, that really puts things into perspective. You know what I mean? Work is a blessing. If you have the ability to work on yourself, do it. Do it. Push yourself to that next level, that next phase in your life. If you're super young right now, you might not think that's super important, but at some point, in the very near future, you're going to get older, and when you do, you're going to realize that the amount of work you've put into yourself will dictate where you are, what position you're in that stage of your life, where your family groups are, and so it was a cool conversation. And by the way, I will say this too, and this is just my outlook on it, but you know, to not work on yourself and to not want to put in the work, whether it be in your marriage, your friendships, your hobbies, your work, whatever it is, your passions, your children, whatever it is, to not want to do that is selfish. It's freaking selfish, man. What a selfish person that you don't want to put in the work and dedicate some time into development, into growing, into doing those things. And so, anyway, my wife and I had that conversation. It was powerful. We connected. We found some more common ground and something else that we get along, or not get along with, but something else that we're on the same page with. And we were able to continue to deepen our relationship. And for those of you who are married, especially in business, you know how important it is, man, to make sure that all those things are working. If your marriage isn't working right and you're at the office, I don't care what you say, you're in a funk. You know what I mean? I've been like that. I'm like that. I'm connected with my wife, and so it's so important for me to take time, work on my marriage, take time, work on my relationship with my children, my business, my hobbies, my brothers, my mom, all those groups. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you was really a quote. It's from a book that I'm reading, by Patrick Bet David, PBD. You may know about him, you may not, but he wrote a book. It's called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And it's a badass book. But in that book, there's a quote. And that quote, and it's just a statement he makes. It says, "What if you could turn shame, guilt, anger, disappointment, and heartbreak into the fire that propels you towards your wildest dreams?" And dude, what a freaking statement, man. And I say this and I want to share this with you because, a lot of us go through life, and we kind of like, we just go through the motions, and we run these things that have happened to us, in the background. Everywhere we go, there we are, right? Whether, we're ashamed of that thing we did, or, we feel guilty about that thing we said. Here's the deal, man. You are in competition with your prior self. That's it. That's it. You're not in competition with me. You're not in competition with your friends, your siblings, your coworkers. You're in competition with you. And as I'm reading this book, I'm realizing that who I'm in competition with is my prior self, the old version of me, the person who used to drink a lot, person who used to smoke, the person who used to freaking, not prioritize his wife, his children, not prioritize his ambitions, his goals, what he was focused on. He would put those things to the side and just for the moment numb himself with, weed or alcohol, and just continuously try to escape the thing that he needed to confront, which was, his bad habits, the things that I wasn't doing, that weren't putting me in that position that I wanted to be in. I actually wanted to be in the position that was a good position, the things I needed to do. And so I say all this to tell you that I am in competition with myself. I'm in competition with the old person I used to be. I'm in competition with that version of me that wasn't moving, that wasn't looking to thrive, only talking a lot and doing nothing about it. And so I wanted to share that with you. I hope you find this valuable. I hope you don't take what I say the wrong way. I hope that you take it as, hey, look, these are my lessons learned. These are things I'm going through this week. And hey, if one person in the world can resonate with that, for me, I feel great. And so, anyway, I wanted to share this message with you. Everything on the business front is great. We are adding a store to our website, advancing our website. We're starting to do business across the country, which is amazing. It's a blessing. A year ago, it's something I wanted to do. I was envisioning it, and now it's becoming, a real thing. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to see what happens when you put in the work, when you dedicate your time, your energy, and your focus to making the thing come true. And so, wanted to share this with you. If you watched and you commented, I appreciate it. I see some of the some of the messages here. Mr. Fun, retake terror 3, bro, the fist with the knife. Appreciate it. I don't know what the angry face is. I don't know what made you mad. But hopefully you're happy now. What did you know? Hi. All right. Anyway, appreciate the comments, appreciate the views, and I hope the message resonates with you. And yeah, I'm out. If you don't know who I am, my name is Fabian. I'm the founder and owner of Shift Insurance. We are dedicated to providing commercial insurance to the health and wellness space. And we also focus on life insurance too, to make sure that we protect not just the business, but we secure the future. And so if you have any questions, you want to drop comments or send me a message direct, go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate it.